Hello and welcome to this overview video on one of our new larger stoves from BeF Home. This unit is the Twin 2.9 or the Twin V9. It's a double-sided stove and we wanted to give you just a quick overview on how it's put together, why it works. We'll also give you a little bit of look at the convection jacket. As with BeF stoves, as with all their models in their range on the warm air, there is a convection jacket, and this one has been specifically designed to suit the larger twin-sided stove. But we'll come back to that in a minute. Rough dimensions and some numbers on the stove to start with. Firstly, about 14.5, 15 kilowatts nominal output from the stove, so it's quite substantial. It is a big stove. Viewing at the front is approximately about 800 wide by about 400 high. So the viewing picture of the fire is quite extensive. It is a dual-sided stove, but you'll see that on this side we have an up and down door, and then on the other side we'll be able to show you a standard hinge door, and you can see the casing above the door here where the door is in the retracted position where it sits and rests. So with an up and down door, as you'd expect, a very large, easy to use handle, and not an awful lot of effort it takes to lift the door. And once the door is up, it's well up past the viewing angle and you've got a very big view of the fire. Very easy door to work with, and there's a counterweight system which is inside and here in the housing, which acts as a very easy mechanism in order for you to use the door. One thing I will mention about the door, there is an increased drop-down hinge feature on the door, whereby when the door starts to lift up, it actually comes out and up, so that when it comes down and moves in against the stove itself. So it increases the air tightness and the seal around the stove, and also reduces friction between the gaskets and the door itself. So when the door comes down, it drops down and it actually moves in a little bit closer to the unit itself, thus increasing the efficiency. One thing that we have been asked a couple of times just to mention is that when it comes to cleaning a large window like this, because occasionally you're going to have to clean the glass, on some of the earlier models the door opened off a latch here at the side and swung out, and that afforded you access to be able to clean the glass. But in this case, using the handle which is provided with the stove, there's a very simple switch at the top of the door, which just unhooks very, very easily, and the door drops down into an open position like that. So this will allow you to clean the stove and clean the glass with any debris falling back into the fire. And then once you've finished cleaning the glass, the door will simply just pop back up, and then you're back into your up and down door. So that's it on the up and down door side. We shouldn't forget the other side of the stove as well, which also has the standard hinge door. There is a four-sided trim on this side, so you've got all four sides of the glass which are covered, and again the same viewing angle, around about 800 by about 400, and a standard handle here at the side which allows the door to open and close fully. Moving to the top of the stove, there is a 200mm flue, which you'd expect to have on a stove of this size. It's also good to have because on some other manufacturers, when you move to an up and down door, this flue dimension increases to about 250mm. But due to the design and technology that BeF Home are using, they've been able to keep this particular model with a 200mm flue, so it's compatible with a standard chimney. The upper housing you can see, which will be underneath the convection jacket when we mention that in a minute, but it is important to remember that on a double-sided stove, when you're harvesting the warm air away from the stove, is that you don't have the back. Because it's a double-sided stove, we don't have this surface area in order for it to get hot, because this heat is obviously going to be radiated into the room through the glass. So when it comes to taking the heat off the stove, we'll be taking it off the sides, obviously across the top and down the other sides. And what BeF Home have done here is they've designed a bigger and wider surface area at the top of the stove, which is designed to get hot, which is therefore designed to give you a lot more heat and a lot more heat output from the stove that can, of course, be delivered to other rooms. We mentioned earlier on the convection jacket. This is it. As with all BeF stoves, there is a convection jacket which is required in order that the warm air can be harvested from the stove, be taken away by a fan system, and then blown by using simple insulated ducting into other rooms. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this jacket and we're going to pop it over the stove itself and give you an idea about what it looks like prior to its installation. Okay, so here we have the convection jacket, which has been mounted over the machine. You can see the sides of it here, obviously across the top. You see the stove inside. The flue, of course, is connected to your flue system and goes straight through to the firebox itself and the chamber. It doesn't play any part in this. It's just simply just for the warm air. And as with all the larger stoves within the BEF range, we have the options of 4 150mm spigots that can be used to duct the warm air away. And then you can see here at the side, then again the opportunity to harvest warm air off the side of the stove. So really what we're trying to do with this particular model, as with all BEF models, is get the stove hot, get lots of heat into the metal and the body of the stove. The stove is now covered in a convection jacket, and then the warm air can be taken away using a forced ventilation system and ducted into other rooms. So that's it. We just wanted to give you a quick overview on the stove and how it works. This is the BEF Home V9 or Twin V9. More information on our website, shawwoodheat.ie, or you can contact us through the website if you require any further information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.